The footage you are seeing was taken on July 1st, 1937, at Lae Airfield in Lae, New Guinea. The destination? Howland Island. The passengers? An experienced pilot and a master navigator. So what went wrong? It was meant to be just a simple fuel stop on the last leg of a record-setting round-the-world flight. But unbeknownst to everyone there, this would be the last time anyone would see Amelia Earhart or Fred Noonan ever again. Off the coast of Howland Island on the morning of July 2, 1937, the USCGC Itasca received a radio transmission from a plane they were assisting on a round-the-world trip. At 7:42 a.m., saying, little did the men on the Itasca realize that by 9 a.m. all communications with the plane would stop, starting the most famous search in modern history. Around 10 in the morning local time on the 1st, Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan were ready to embark on their plane, the Electra, on the last leg of their round-the-world trip started on June 1st. The plan was to fly from Lae, New Guinea to Howland Island, refuel, and land back in Oakland, California. Howland Island was a very small island, only 6,500 feet long, 1,600 feet wide, and 10 feet high, hence why the Itasca was stationed there to help guide the Electra to the island. The flight itself was relatively uneventful, and after about 16 hours of flying, the Itasca received the first radio communications from Earhart. The Itasca soon realized that the Electra's radio equipment was damaged and could only send out radio transmissions, leaving Morse code as the only way to communicate with the plane. It has been theorized that unbeknownst to Earhart and Noonan, the radio antenna had been damaged as the Electra took off, possibly due to the fact that the Electra was fuel-heavy. As a last-ditch effort to signal the plane, the Itasca used her boilers to create plumes of black smoke. In her last known transmission at 8:43 a.m., Earhart broadcast, However, a few moments later she was back on the same frequency with a transmission that was logged as questionable. Earhart's transmissions seemed to indicate that she and Noonan believed that they had reached Howland Island's charted position, which was incorrect by about 5 nautical miles or 10 kilometers. Immediately following the final transmission from the Electra, the Itasca tried in vain to establish contact with the plane. When that failed to work, the ship radioed for assistance and set out to try and locate the Electra. While the Itasca was searching by sea, the U.S. Navy called upon both the Catalina and the Colorado from Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. To search by air, a small seaplane that was already on Howland Island in case of emergencies was deployed. The Colorado also had 3 small planes which began aerial searches on July 7th. By the 12th, the Colorado was dismissed and the Navy called upon the much larger Lexington, carrying 63 aircraft. The Lexington was at the time known for its speed, setting a speed record in 1928. As the Lexington assumed control of the search and rescue mission, hope remained high that Earhart and Noonan would soon be located and rescued. After 17 days and $4 million, the official search and rescue by the U.S. Navy came to an end. All told, the Navy searched 150,000 square miles, or 390,000 square kilometers. After the Navy called off its search, Earhart's husband, George Putnam, started his own search. He chartered 2 small boats to search the following islands: Phoenix Island, Christmas Island, Fanning Island, the Gilbert Islands, and the Marshall Islands. After a year and a half of searching, Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan were pronounced dead. Not a trace of Earhart, Noonan, or the Electra have ever been found. While the most accepted theory is simply the crash and sink theory, this has not stopped people from proposing alternate theories. One theory proposes that Earhart actually landed on the uninhabited Gardner Island, 400 miles south of Howland Island. The theory assumes that Earhart and Noonan couldn't locate Howland Island, and, not wanting to waste time searching for it, turned south. This theory is also supported by the fact that a week after the disappearance, the Colorado's planes searched Gardner Island and saw recent signs of habitation. Then, in December 1938, people landed on Gardner Island and started constructing a settlement. While the construction of this settlement was underway in April 1940, a skeleton was found buried under a tree. Initially, the captain commanding this construction, Gerald Gallagher, believed that the skeleton was possibly that of a woman, adding, "The bones look more than 4 years old to me, but there seems to be a very slight chance that this could be the remains of Amelia Earhart." The skeleton was then sent to the Fiji School of Medicine to be examined more thoroughly. This theory was put to rest a year later in April 1941 when Dr. D. W. Hoodless said, "It may be definitively stated that the skeleton is that of a male. Owing to the weather-beaten condition of all the bones, it is impossible to be dogmatic in regard to the age of the person at the time of death, but I am of the opinion that he was not less than 45 years of age, and that he was probably older, say between 45 and 55 years. We may never know what really happened on that fateful day in July of 1937, but what Amelia Earhart did for women in the aviation industry cannot be understated. Her legacy will inspire generations of aspiring pilots everywhere.